Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the July 8th, 2024 Eugene City Council meeting. And thank you again to this really beautiful space. Thank you for joining us in this hybrid meeting format. Anyone wishing to access the meeting can do so by watching the live stream available on our website, the broadcast on Comcast Channel 21, or by following the access instructions listed for this meeting on the city's public webcast and meeting materials web page. Tonight's meeting will include a public comment period. If you wish to speak during the public comment period and have not already done so, please fill out a request to speak form available on our public webcast and meeting materials webpage, or fill out one of the printed forms available at the entrance to the room. We'll accept those requests to speak forms until 7:35. These forms will be used to generate the random order of speakers and to correctly enter speakers' names into the record. For those of you who are joining the meeting remotely, you are welcome to email your comments to City Council. And as a reminder, the Council's meeting rules of conduct include no flags, wearing them or otherwise, signs, loud or disruptive language, noise, or conduct that obstructs the business of Council. We ask you to keep the room quiet and respectful for all speakers. Our goal is that people have an opportunity to express themselves clearly in a safe space where we can hear what they have to say. And you are always welcome to wave your fingers in silent support. And additionally, we have a full room today, so if you're not feeling well, we ask you to separate yourself or step out. I believe we still have masks available, and just protect yourself and protect others. As a reminder, we have some new technology today. This will be the first time for me using some of this. And so we ask for your patience as we work our way through this, although I think the staff have already become experts, so I'm very confident. And then a reminder for all of us on council that we actually have to turn our microphones on to be heard. And so with that, I call the July 8th, 2024 meeting of the Eugene City Council to order, and I will begin with a land acknowledgement. Since time immemorial, the Kalapuya people have been the indigenous stewards to our region, building dynamic communities, maintaining balance with wildlife, and enacting sustainable land practices. This land acknowledgement is a way of resisting the erasure of indigenous histories and to honor Native communities by inviting truth and reconciliation. Following treaties between 1851 and 1855, Kalapuya people were dispossessed of their indigenous homeland by the United States government and forcibly removed to the Coast Reservation in Western Oregon. As we consider the impacts of colonization, we also acknowledge the strength and resiliency of displaced indigenous people. The city of Eugene is built within the traditional homelands known as Kalapuya Ilahi. Kalapuya descendants are citizens of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde Community of Oregon and the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians of Oregon. They continue to make contributions in our communities here and across the lands. We express our respect for the inherent political sovereignty of all federally recognized tribal nations and indigenous people who live in the state of Oregon and across the nation. So we have a few ceremonial matters this morning, but I want to begin first up with a recognition and acknowledgement and expression of gratitude to our colleagues, Eugene Water and Electric Board. We are grateful to have been able to make this transition from a city government that did not have a city hall. I said I did not want to leave office as mayor without actually, at least for a little while, working in a building that says City Hall on the front of it. And these very smooth and collaborative negotiations with eWeb have made this transition possible for all of us. I think many of us probably have a lot of well, I have fond feelings about this room. I imagine the eWeb board has mixed feelings about all the hard decisions and conversations they had in this room, but these walls have heard a lot. And they have embraced a lot of really, really important community conversations. And here we are, a wonderful new purpose for this building. We're tremendously excited. I have been telling people that city staff are giddy with excitement about working in this building, and it is part of this much larger development that the city has undertaken on former eWeb property, a housing park, a plaza under construction. It's really an exciting new era for the city of Eugene. And it would not have happened if we had not been able to have this ongoing, very cooperative, very collegial relationship with eWeb. So we want to thank you, and I'm going to turn to the city manager.
I have a couple of comments I'm going to make, but I also have a gift, so I'm going to make them from out there. So I also wanted to thank, as the city manager of Eugene, housing being developed and a lot of leaders have helped along the way, one of which was a previous planning director, Robin Hostick, who left his passion of art, and in particular his desire to connect people with the landscape. And so this special because now we get to experience also be able
And just don't drink the fountain water. That's the only advice I have. Yes, run through.
Could you turn it around so we could see it?
I'm the new Vanna White. Thank you.
Ooh, very nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What a beautiful painting. And now, with that, we'll move into additional ceremonial matters. As we do, we take this opportunity to issue and read proclamations. And tonight's proclamation is in recognition of the 34th anniversary of the Americans with Disability Act. Whereas the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, was signed into law on July 26, 1990, establishing a clear and comprehensive mandate for the elimination of discrimination to ensure the civil rights of people with disabilities. And whereas the ADA has expanded opportunities for Americans with disabilities by reducing barriers, changing perceptions, and increasing opportunities for full participation and inclusion in community life. And whereas continued commitment to the principles of the ADA is necessary to help individuals with disabilities reach their full potential. And whereas the City of Eugene encourages community members to reaffirm the principles of equity, inclusion, and belonging as laid out in the ADA. The city continues its commitment and efforts to reach full ADA compliance so that every person in our city has the opportunity to succeed. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Lucy Vinnis, Mayor of the City of Eugene, Oregon, do hereby proclaim July 26, 2024, to be the 34th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act in Eugene, and encourage all community members to commemorate the ADA, recognizing and celebrating the progress that has been made, as well as committing to ADA principles. And now it is my great pleasure to open the stage for the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council to present their annual report. And do I have just, you may have witnessed some certificates that I just awarded to our graduating seniors with the Youth Advisory Council. Chloe Capron graduated from Willamette High School and is going on to attend Willamette University. Chloe served 1 year on the YAC, and I would say she hit the ground running. She was ready to figure out how the organization worked and where she could fit in. Molly Jett graduated from South Eugene High School and is attending Columbia University. And also, But wonderful, these students are smart and able and always interesting in what they have to say. And Molly brought great contributions to the discussions. Ashley Nuno graduated from South Eugene High School and is attending the University of Oregon. Ashley has served 4 years on the YAC and has been secretary for the past 2 years. And I will just say about Ashley, being the secretary for the YAC is a really pretty critical job. These are a lot of busy high school students going a lot of different directions, and so to have a very competent secretary makes a big difference to the organization. And Jocelyn St. Clair graduated from Willamette High School and is attending Emory University. Jocelyn served 3 years on the YAC and has been co-chair this past year and secretary the previous year. And Jocelyn is a dynamo, and so she has brought a tremendous amount of energy to the YAC in the years that she has served on the YAC. And I think as the council has matured over the last couple of years, we're seeing all of these students who were a part of it for several years, the way they have sort of lifted up and understood and allowed this organization to develop. So great thanks to them. And finally, I will acknowledge he's not here, Neil Nair. Although he's not here tonight, he graduated from Sheldon High School, and he will be attending Duke University. He has served 3 years on the YAC and has been co-chair for the past 2 years. And Neil is one of our YAC members who has also served in some other advisory roles for the city of Eugene. And so that has been part of our intention around the YAC, is that high school students having an experience growing up in this community would bring their insights into the city's work. And so as these members of the Youth Advisory Council have an opportunity to serve in various roles, we simply benefit from gaining their insight and their perspective of growing up in this community. So thank you all for serving on the YAC. It has been a pleasure to know you and to learn from you. And with that, I will invite Jocelyn St. Clair to come up and deliver the annual report.
Good evening, City Council. I'm here tonight as a representative of the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, which was created by Mayor Lucy Vennis in late 2020 with the intention of creating a space for youth voices and perspectives to influence and initiate policy at a city government level. In the past year, our group has become a lot more involved in the community, and through this, we've taken a lot of time outside of our monthly meetings to volunteer, such as when we worked with the City of Eugene to keep Hendricks Park clean roughly a month ago. And we were involved in this by picking up trash. I know one of our members got a lot of funny pictures of us picking up trash. Ask her later. And we also picked weeds to ensure that the young trees will be able to grow and thrive throughout the years. And not only were we able to help out our community, but this allowed us to grow together as a council, which is really important. And another way that we've been able to grow as a council is we've become a lot more involved in the city, which we often need to remember that we are closely linked with. And this drove our legislation subcommittee this year to plan a mock city council meeting for our YAC. And this took place at the Eugene City Council's temporary location, which we are no longer at, and that was the Lane Community College's downtown complex. We had a lot of fun taking certain roles as city councilors, the city manager, and the mayor, and in these mock roles, we actually voted on contemporary issues pertaining to our community. And I think that I can speak for the YAC as a whole when I say that the most enjoyable portion of this mock meeting was the public comment section. Am I right? Yeah. We had a lot of fun creating dramatic personalities to argue the points of our respective comments, all while learning about what goes on at a city council meeting. So we had a lot of fun with that. And as the mayor mentioned earlier, a lot of our YAC members have participated in various roles, in collaboration with the city in ways other than the YAC. These include, I know that Lily Yao was a liaison to the Eugene Sustainability Commission. She was also on the city's revenue advisory team. We had someone else participate in, he was on the hiring committee for the new library, recreation, and cultural services. And we had someone else working with city planning. I believe that was Samuel. Cool, yeah. And But also being, more connected to the city this year, we've really, we're looking at forming a partnership with the planning and development staff on the Urban Growth Strategies Project and the sustainability staff on the building decarbonization to help provide a youth perspective on the future of Eugene and decisions related to housing and the environment. And this is something that we began this year and are really hoping to continue throughout the next couple of years to really include that youth perspective on city issues, because we are the youth, and these decisions are going to have a huge impact on our lives. So we're really fortunate that we're able to be in that partnership and to, have our voices heard. And we were also able to hear the voices at the city of our meetings. For instance, we had Councilor Jennifer Yeh attend a meeting and share some of her thoughts on current issues. And we had the city's new library, recreation, and cultural services director, Josh Bates, who I believe walked in earlier. Hey, yay. Also attended a meeting to share his thoughts on issues related to equity and youth in Eugene. And the YAC also had the awesome opportunity to participate in the City of Eugene's Belonging Training, where we got to learn about the history of Eugene and discuss how that history has impacted member experiences growing up in Eugene and how those differ from person to person. I remember that being really interesting and insightful. So overall, we've had a really successful year as a YAC, and we hope to continue furthering our connection to both the City of Eugene and the community into the coming year. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much. Wonderful report, and appreciate all of your work. So thank you. With that, we are actually now ready to move on to the committee reports and items of interest. And so are there counselors who have something to report? Counselor Keating.
Thanks, Mayor. Congratulations to the YAC members on your graduation and accolades, the mock council, and thank you for all you do. In their mock council, I wonder if they had people walk out on them while they were giving them kudos. It's quite a thing. I want to echo the mayor's sentiments, the manager's sentiments, and welcome our eWeb colleagues. I see a couple of them have walked out as well. John Borofsky, thank you for sticking with us. Commissioner Sonia Carlson, Commissioner John Brown, and of course Frank Lawson, thank you for being here. What's that? If I say their name, they leave? Right, it's like the opposite of Beetlejuice. If I say your name 3 times, you just bounce. As Frank Lawson said, don't drink the fountain water. Those are wise words that can apply pretty much to anything. In late June, the mayor and I and city staff and the assistant city manager welcomed the office of the governor on a critically important tour of Eugene's shelters, rest stop, low barrier system. And I want to thank the volunteer leaders at 310 Garfield, St. Vincent de Paul, Skinner Village, and community-supported shelters for the work that you do day in and day out, and the work that you did to welcome city staff and the mayor and the team from the governor's office on that tour. It was inspiring, it was eye-opening, and I continue to beat the drum that we need to fundamentally change the definition of emergency shelters at a state and at a federal level to allow for increased funds to support the great work that's happening on the ground right here. Hope you had a happy 4th of July weekend. Thank you to everyone who adhered to our citywide ban or prohibition on fireworks, personal fireworks displays. Thank you to everyone who reached out to the non-emergency line. Thank you to everyone who used the app, the Firewise app, I believe it is. My app is still loading. The fireworks alert. And I really appreciate Chief Skinner reaching out just a couple days ago to give us a kind of a surface level snapshot as to the volume of reports that came in and the breadth of work that we need to grapple with in regards to increased education and increased enforcement for a safer 4th of July for all. Around the corner, El Rapa, the Lane Regional Air Protection Agency, meets this week, Thursday, July 11 at noon, and the Human Services Commission, an intergovernmental agency between Springfield, Eugene, and Lane County, meets Monday, July 15th at 12 o'clock.
Done. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone else asking for a place in the queue, so I'm assuming there are no other updates. All right, thank you all. Thank you, Councilor Keating. With that, I think we're ready for a motion on the consent calendar.
Just a heads up, Mayor, I have a motion to approve the items on consent calendar, but there's an item that I do want to pull. It's attachment A.
Okay,
It's the minutes from attachment A
okay.
on the consent calendar. So can I move to approve the items on consent calendar 1 with the exception of attachment A?
Yes, yes.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, please raise your hands. Or use your pad. Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm not used to the electronics here. So use your pad, use your fancy pad. You all have access to it. First time we've done this. I don't think it's showing up. Is it? Oh. Yes, there we go. Okay, oh, that's cool. All right, done.
We don't get
Snap.
to see it.
All right, thank you, that passes. And do you want to speak to attachment A?
I do. Thank you. Attachment A in the counselor discussions when it comes to my snapshot. I just would ask staff if the line could read, it's parenthetical, Counselor Keating, noted Eugene needs more affordable housing and housing at all income levels. So I would add the words "and housing" after the word housing. That
Okay.
is acceptable. Thanks.
Okay. Move to approve.
Oh, we have to approve that
Well,
then?
I think so, yeah.
Great. Move to, I thought we would wait a week and then it comes back. Is that?
You want, oh, you'll bring
Thank you.
it back. Okay, all right.
No, I'm getting direction from staff. They make the change and then it comes back for a consent calendar next.
Okay.
Thanks, appreciate it.
That sounds good. All right. Next up, an action, an ordinance adopting hazardous substance user fees.
Mayor, move to adopt an ordinance adopting hazardous substance user fees as provided in attachment A to this AIS.
Second.
Any question, discussion? All in favor, please use your voting pad to vote. Okay, that's fast. Thank you very much. That passes. And with that, we are ready to move on to the public comment period. The public comment period is an opportunity for individuals to speak to the City Council on any city-related issues except for those items which have already been heard by a hearings official. And I'll turn to staff to share the list and total number of speakers that have signed up. How many do we have?
We have 35 speakers this evening, Mayor.
Okay, so I'll just comment that with 35 speakers, if you can shorten your comments, it ensures that the people at the end of the queue will actually have a chance to deliver their comments before we meet our 90-minute total time. So with that, I will turn it over to staff.
Thank you, Mayor. I will announce two speakers' names at a time. When you are called to speak, please state your name and your ward or neighborhood, if known, before beginning your comments. If you are announced as the next speaker, please move to the seat in the front row designated for the next speaker. When it is your turn, you may come to the podium. Please leave any bags you may have with you at your seat. If you have documents to give council, please place them in the basket near the podium. You will have 2.5 minutes to speak. The timer will flash red when you have 15 seconds remaining to speak. Your microphone will be muted at the 2.5-minute mark. Please note that the use of profanity is prohibited, and any instances of profanity will result in immediate termination of speaking privileges. Our first speaker this evening is Alexi Miller, followed by Drew Simran.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Alexi Miller. As noted, I live in Ward 1. I'm here representing the Eugene Sustainability Commission, and in particular, I lead the Building Decarbonization Committee for that commission. We've I think it has just been delivered, but we've put together an advice letter to council, and if that's not yours already, it should be. It's titled Unlocking Decarbonization in Eugene's Rental Properties. So I'm going to summarize some of that stuff, just the highlights, just the hits. But there's that document. It's about 8 pages total, so it's nothing too intense. Eugene is, as you probably know, mostly renters, over 50% renters here. And so there's a really important dynamic called the split incentive. That means people rent a place, that could be commercial or residential, and the person who pays the power bills is not the same person who installs the stuff, right? And so that means the landlord has an incentive to go cheap, and the tenant is stuck with potentially inefficient equipment. So there's a real equity, energy cost, and decarbonization challenge that comes from this dynamic. So we looked into several policy options. We looked nationwide, and we found a couple of items. There are 8 in the letter. I'm going to talk about 3, some program and policy opportunities. Also, of course, you're going to hear some of these ideas echoed this week, this Wednesday, from Ian Penn and Danielle Klinkabeel when they present some of their good work they've been doing on Wednesday and a week from now. So first off, one idea is Eugene could be providing program and policy support. It's pretty complicated for folks to go through the process of getting a heat pump, getting EWEB incentives, getting insulation, being sure you're eligible for federal tax credits. It's all complicated, the timelines intersect, and it's tricky to manage them well, which is why folks dealing with the split incentive, landlords, for example, it's too complicated to even start, let alone finish it well. There are service providers that are doing this. Ian Penn is working on that right now. The city could staff a position, could incentivize landlords, community-based organizations to help support that. So there are a few different options outlined in the letter there. The other one I'm going to mention briefly is a rental building energy use disclosure ordinance, which would help increase transparency in the rental market. So energy being a part of the cost of housing, we could reduce folks' energy burden, or at least make it clearer what they're getting into by helping them understand what they're really renting. There are 6 more in that letter. I encourage you to read it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexi. Our next speaker this evening is Drew Simrin, followed by Molly Babcock.
Good evening. My name is Drew Simron, and I live in the River Road neighborhood. I've lived in Eugene my whole life. I appreciate the leadership council showed by passing Oregon's first in the state electrification ordinance and voting to return the issue to July 2024 and thorough engagement process that has taken place, and now it's the time to act. I urge Council to prioritize climate, energy justice, and public health, moving to direct city staff and to draft ordinances and/or resolutions languages reflecting the following in 2024. Generate revenue for low-income residential electrification by increasing gas supplier tax on Northwest Natural, a known bad actor, from 5% to 10%, and in creating a social cost of carbon fee. We are currently under an ozone advisory from El Rapa until tomorrow, and that underscores the importance of being able to come into indoor cool spaces like this that have clean air. And we need to establish low nitrogen oxide emission standard for gas furnaces and water heaters sold in Eugene as well. That will help, methane contributes to the ground level ozone pollution that we're currently experiencing right now. And I would encourage that the city prohibit the expansion of gas mains within the city public right-of-way. It's a point of leverage that the city has. Adopt a policy that any new construction that the city subsidizes or provides with permitting exemptions and or streamlining be all electric as a conditions of those subsidies or exemptions. I thank the council, the mayor, and the city manager for the opportunity to testify. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. Our next speakers are Molly Babcock, followed by Danny Noonan.
Hello, my name is Molly Babcock. I live in Ward 1. I got off work today at 5 p.m. and walked home in the heat to meet my little sister at our shared apartment. She works part-time in leasing, making just above minimum wage. She can't afford the expensive grocery options downtown, let alone a car. We've both suffered from heat-related illness and fainting disorders throughout our lives. Today, we weigh the impact of extreme heat on our health against our need for food. Low-income young people shouldn't have to have these conversations, but they're becoming more and more frequent as climate change exacerbates extreme weather patterns here in Eugene. The heat we all experienced over the past week is far from normal. Last Friday, July 5th, was the hottest July 5th ever recorded in Portland, Salem, Eugene, Hillsborough, and Vancouver. This extreme heat is part of a larger trend toward hot summers and unpredictable winters that threaten our public infrastructure, our neighbors, and especially our future generations. Our city has committed to lofty climate goals and set a precedent for communities around Oregon. I appreciate all the work you have done to support a healthy climate, but there is more to be done. I urge Council to initiate an ordinance or resolution reflecting the following policies in 2024. First, generate revenue for low-income residential electrification by increasing the gas supplier tax on Northwest Natural from 5% to 10%. Additionally, establish a low nitrogen oxide emission standard for gas furnaces and water heaters sold in Eugene. Prohibit the expansion of gas mains within the city's public right-of-way. And finally, adopt a city policy that any new construction that the city subsidizes or provides with permitting exemptions be built all electric as a condition of those subsidies or exemptions. These policies are legally defensible, vetted by Fossil Free Eugene law professionals, and they were developed with great input from the vulnerable members of our community. Moving forward with these policies will target the root cause of extreme weather events, improve public health, and ultimately create a safe community for young people of today and the future to learn and grow. You have the opportunity to make a profound impact on our lives. Please take strong action during the upcoming work session. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony.
Thank you, Molly. Our next speakers are Danny Noonan, followed by Dylan Plummer.
Mayor Venice and City Councillors, my name is Danny Noonan. I am a climate and energy strategist with the non-profit organisation Breach Collective and a resident of Ward 7. This morning I sent Council a letter on behalf of 16 organisations outlining 5 policy proposals for reducing greenhouse gas emissions in buildings. I wanted to highlight a few points from that letter for you. First, the climate crisis is upon us, and state and federal action alone will not be enough to right the ship. The future of federal climate policy at this moment appears extremely uncertain and could turn 180 degrees based on the results of this November's presidential election. State climate policy is also less certain, partly as a result of Northwest Natural successfully invalidating Oregon's climate protection program in court based on a procedural technicality. Even when the state reinstates that program, the Good Company report prepared for the city last year showed that this program will not be enough to achieve our city's goal of complete building decarbonisation by 2045. This means that you need to take more action locally to ensure that Eugene is doing its fair share to reduce emissions and prepare its residents for the climate impacts we cannot avoid. Second, our policy proposals will improve public health outcomes, increase community resilience, and lower household costs. A low nitrogen oxides appliance standard will also improve indoor air quality, even for those homes that choose to stick with gas. Those who opt for heat pumps, meanwhile, will enjoy air conditioning that is increasingly essential in Eugene's summers and reliable heating in the winter, all from the same ultra energy efficient appliance that will have a fraction of the impact on the electric grid of older electric resistance appliances. These are just some of the reasons why every study has shown that building all electric is cheaper than gas on an apples to apples basis. Third, gas provides only about 30% of the energy used in Eugene's buildings, while accounting for about 70% of building greenhouse gas emissions. It is therefore never going to be a community level solution to withstanding extreme weather events. In short, these proposals call for Council to take a primarily incentives-based approach, encouraging rapid uptake of heat pumps, especially for low and middle income households, and discouraging building with gas, especially in circumstances where this would undermine.
Thank you, Danny. Your time is concluded. Our next speakers are Dylan Plummer, followed by Rebecca Lipton.
Yeah,
Mayor Vinnis and Eugene City Councilors, thank you for this opportunity to testify. My name is Dylan Plummer, and I work with the Sierra Club. I'm also a resident of Ward 2. I'm testifying on behalf of my organization and its over 10,000 members in Eugene to urge the City Council to take urgent action to reduce climate pollution and to protect public health and air quality. As I testify, our community is experiencing what would have, just a few years ago, been a historic heat wave. Yet in the past 5 years, this extreme summer heat has become the new normal as the climate crisis's impacts become more pronounced here in Eugene and across the globe. These impacts span across many of the most pressing issues facing us today, including public health. As someone with a chronic respiratory illness, the air quality implications of the continued use of fossil fuels, as well as the impacts of the climate crisis, are particularly personal for me. I'm concerned with the continued use of fossil fuels in our homes and buildings. According to data from the EPA, the use of fossil fuels in homes and buildings generates as much outdoor NOx pollution as the state's cement manufacturing and power generation industries combined. Thankfully, there are common sense policies that this council can take to both reduce climate pollution and protect clean air and preserve public health. In light of this, I urge council to pursue the following policies in 2024. Increase the gas supplier tax on Northwest Natural from 5 to 10% to generate revenue that can be used to support targeted low-income electrification and weatherization and reduce energy burden. Create a social cost of carbon fee for those that choose to construct new homes and buildings with gas to support targeted electrification efforts. Establish a low NOx emission standard for gas furnaces and water heaters sold in Eugene, similar to what's being done in California and Colorado, and what has been already done and on the books in places like Texas, Arizona, and even in Southwest Washington. Adopt a city policy that any new construction that the city subsidizes be built all electric as a condition of those subsidies or any exemptions, and prohibit the expansion of gas mains within the city's public right-of-way to ensure that new construction in our urban growth boundary is all electric. You have an opportunity to continue to lead the nation on the twin crises of public health and climate. I urge you to take it. Thank you for your consideration. I'll also note this is the first time I've finished ahead of time, so.
Thank you, Dylan. Our next speakers are Rebecca Lipton, followed by Rye Butler Corbett.
Hi, thank you, City Council, for the opportunity to provide public comment. My name is Rebecca Lipton. I live in Springfield, and I will be very brief. The multiple day heat wave and high ozone levels are that we're currently experiencing are a painful reminder that we must take action to reduce fossil fuel use. Please find your courage to pass fossil-free policies. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Our next speakers are Rye Butler Corbett, followed by Jacob True.
Hi there. My name is Rye Butler Corbett, and I live in South Eugene, Ward 2. I am on a hike with my dog. He loves to run, but there's no shade. As I stop to drink water, I see him collapse, his big pink tongue sticking all the way out his mouth as he desperately pants to cool himself down. Behind the red glare exuded by the sun, I can see chickens picking at sun-dried worms on the ground. The goats are panting under the trees. Their skin is dry and flaky. I can see the barn cat sprawled out across the gravel, and I have to check on her to make sure she's still breathing. I continue to wonder, why must these animals suffer from a symptom of greed? We coexist with these animals, and after expecting them to conform to our standard of living, we as their protectors have failed. We have failed them. And there are so many more animal lives that are at risk from climate change. Climate change impacts every single living organism on this planet, not just us. And as the ones with a voice, it is our responsibility to speak up for those who cannot. Small changes yield big results. I'm here today on behalf of the voiceless to urge this council to push and implement the electrification ordinance. A step away from damage is a step towards change. Thank you.
Thank you, Rye. Our next speakers are Jacob True, followed by Uma Carrier.
Hello, my name is Jacob True, and while I wear many hats, I'm here tonight speaking for myself. Thank you to Mayor Vinnis, City Councilors, and City Manager Mederi for this opportunity to speak. I'm here today to encourage you to fulfill the promise of the Climate Action Plan and take some action on the climate. I'm a proud member of the Solidarity Garden, project that's happening over where I live in Ward 1. And I've been living and gardening here in Eugene since I was in high school, about 2 decades ago now. I'm old enough to remember when it would rain or storm or even hail in the summer. Persistent high summer temps, spikes up into the hundreds, and no precipitation for months, leaving my rain barrels empty, isn't how Eugene used to be. That's how Southern Oregon, like Medford or Ashland used to be. You know, our climate is changing, and it's just getting worse. I was hopeful with the Climate Action Plan you'd take some substantive action to mitigate our ongoing climate catastrophe. The electrification ordinance y'all passed about a year ago was a fine first step, but we're seeing that the cost of inaction is high and getting higher. Some of the suggestions that others put forward with more detail and eloquence than me are excellent, but I really want to highlight the bit that affects the city's budget. Northwest Natural has been a consistent and cultivated bad actor, and increasing the finance tax from 5% to 10% so you can pay for the incentives that would encourage folks to go for the other ways, I think is the right way to go. I don't want to belabor the point, so I'll yield the rest of my time. Thank you now.
Thank you, Jacob. Our next speakers are Uma Carriere, followed by Seth Sadovsky.
Dear City Council and Mayor Venice, thank you for providing this opportunity for testimony. My name is Uma Carriere, and I am a resident in Ward 3. I am a student at South Eugene High School, and as a young person, I worry for the future as wildfires, smoke, and suffocating heat waves have become increasingly present in my life and the lives of my classmates. If the City of Eugene wishes to improve these conditions, quick and decisive action must be taken. That's why I appreciate the leadership Council showed by passing Oregon's first in-state electrification ordinance and for voting to return to issue in June 2024. It's increasingly important that the City Council prioritize energy justice and public health by directing city staff to draft ordinance language that supports increasing the gas supplier tax on Northwest Natural, establishing a low nitrogen oxides and emission standard, restricting the expansion of gas mains, and adopting policy that establishes that new construction be built all electric as a condition of subsidies or exemptions. Fossil fuel burning equipment in buildings emits high levels of nitrogen oxides, which have negative effects on those with asthma and increases air pollution. One of my close friends was just admitted to the emergency room a few weeks ago due to an asthma attack that could very likely have been caused by such pollutants. And my father, who suffers from severe asthma, pollen allergies, and a sensitivity to smoke, is currently having severe congestion and breathing issues that at times prevent him from working, and has to wear gas masks outside to protect himself from the yearly wildfire seasons. I work outside in a garden, and I am concerned about the uncomfortable and maybe even dangerous conditions that I may be forced to work in once the smoke and wildfires inevitably set in. If we take action against air pollution now by accelerating the electrification of infrastructure in Eugene, we can lessen the effects of air pollution. When making the decision about the future of electrification in Eugene, I urge the Council to consider youth and the health and future of our community. Thank you for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Uma. Our next speaker is Seth Sadovsky, followed by Robert Jackson.
Good evening, councilors and Mayor Venice. My name is Seth Sadovsky. I live in Ward 2. I didn't realize you would be starting the meeting by recognizing the anniversary of the ADA tonight, but it's highly relevant to my testimony this evening. I believe that at the last public forum, Mary Christensen introduced a petition we've been working on that has nearly 800 signatures, laying out some specific requests to take sidewalk maintenance more seriously and some methods that other cities have used to fund that work. Tonight, I would like to make an impression of why this is important to me. I suffer from a degenerative eye disease that has no treatment. I used to be able to drive or bicycle or walk to get around, and that worked for me. There was a period of several years where I couldn't drive but could still bicycle safely, and this worked pretty well for me. Eventually, I reached the point where I rely on walking, riding the bus, or having someone drive me around. And this works pretty poorly, partly because many of the sidewalks are terrible. But it's not just me. Approximately a third of people don't drive due to age, ability, or financial limitations, and they are facing similar challenges trying to get around this community. Our bus system remains worse than it was in 2019, but that is not your responsibility. What I want you to address is that our sidewalks are narrow, bumpy, and incomplete. While the city takes responsibility for the maintenance of roads and bike lanes, it is the responsibility of individual property owners to build and maintain sidewalks. This leads to cracks, bumps, encroaching vegetation, and snow and leaf removal often being unaddressed. Aside from multi-use paths, it's difficult to walk any significant distance without dealing with a sidewalk obstacle. And those obstacles are much more significant for people in wheelchairs than they are for me. Poor sidewalks and lack of sidewalks lead people with disabilities to skip activities throughout our city because it's too hard to get to them. We need to address this on a systemic level, which is why I am here appealing to you. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Seth. Our next speakers are Robert Jackson, followed by Buck Olin.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. So I'm here today because I've been bicycling to work over the last few weeks, and I've noticed a lot of signs that say no camping under bridges and in public spaces. And I found this peculiar, so I Googled the definition of camping, and it says, according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, camping is defined as a noun, the activity of spending time living in a tent or camper for recreation. The thing is I've noticed that the people living in these spaces, they don't look like they're having fun. They don't appear to be enjoying themselves camping and fishing and things like that. So my suggestion for the city is to change the verbiage to reflect the reality of the situation and perhaps put signs that say no living, or perhaps no living in abject poverty in this area. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Our next speakers are Buck Olin, followed by Jan Bowman.
Mayor Vinnis, Eugene City Council, City Manager, and the community at large. My name is Buck Olin. I live in Ward 1, and I'm an employee of the City of Eugene. The intersection of Royal Ave and Green Hill Road, marking the westward edge of the City of Eugene, not far from the stop sign of Ewing Platform, along the Fern Ridge Bike Path, looking out over the wetlands and grasslands the Willamette Valley is known for. Coping with the extreme heat during this first week of July and preparing for a second week of temperatures above 90 degrees, the grasses and sedges are already golden brown. The receding green of the wetlands as the abundance of spring rains continues to fade from memory. Yet I still recall the years when people worried the fireworks of Independence Day would not be seen due to cloud cover, if not obscured by rainfall. As the rainy season Oregon had been blessed with for so long reached well into summer. The scientific evidence has been mounting regarding the impacts of greenhouse gas emissions for over 50 years. The awareness of the consequences circulating amongst the public for over 30. For far too long, we've done nothing to mitigate the impacts. We are still doing far too little. Watching as the world changes, climate changes, my eyes wide open, the doors of perception never to be shut again, the heritage of environmental racism paying dividends to only the few, the richest among us, while the poor and working disenfranchised majority struggle to find common ground as the sea levels rise around us. Electrification is a small step in the direction we must travel. Every day wasted furthering our dependence on fossil fuels is a day we do not have. I urge swift and decisive action to build resiliency in our community while setting an example for others that must follow the same path towards sustainability. Thank you for this opportunity to provide testimony, which is truly a privilege in our imperfect democracy and one I hope more would find themselves called to. Good evening.
Thank you, Buck. Our next speakers are Jan Bowman, followed by Aya Cockrum.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Jan Bowman. I live in Ward 2. And first of all, I want to say congratulations on your new digs. I'm sure you must be happy. As someone who worked in the old City Hall and worked on the early phases of the project, I know it's been a long time coming and it's taken a lot of work. So this is great. It's nice to be here. I'm going to read a couple of excerpts from some recent weather reports. And will reinforce the points that some other people have made effectively. This is from The Guardian. An onslaught of record-breaking heat across much of the U.S. has provided yet another indicator of a longer-term issue. Summers are progressively getting hotter for Americans in all corners of the country. U.S. climate scientist Brian Betschneider has analyzed 130 years of federal data, and it shows that from New York to L.A., there are hot spots where summers have gotten significantly hotter compared to the average levels of warming brought about by the burning of fossil fuels. Summers are, on average, now about 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit hotter across the U.S. than the earlier period, but many places have had far more extreme summertime increases, up to 2.8 degrees centigrade or 5 degrees Fahrenheit hotter. More than a third of people in the U.S. live in a county that has summers 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit hotter or more than they were on average in 1895. This means about 117 million Americans are experiencing these new conditions, with 55.7 million of these people in counties that have heated up by 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit or more. I'm going to skip ahead here to say that globally, the average year-round temperature is slightly more than 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than it was in pre-industrial times, with last year the hottest ever recorded, the latest in a string of record annual highs. Winters are also warming more quickly, but the seemingly small increases in summer temperatures can have an outsized effect. 1 degree Celsius of warming may sound relatively small, but it can translate into quite substantial impacts, as it's an average, and the extremes of that average can cause much higher likelihoods of deaths from heat waves, as well as agricultural impacts and wildfires. Heat is a silent killer, and it unfortunately affects the most underserved members of society.
Thank you, Jan. Your time has concluded. Our next speakers this evening are Aya Cockrum, followed by Cecilia Way.
Hello, Mayor Venice, City Council, and City Manager Mederi. My name is Aya Cockrum, and I am a climate justice organizer and parent in Ward 1. Thank you for scheduling the 2 forthcoming work sessions on decarbonization and building electrification. Thank you as well for the thorough engagement process City staff has been conducting. I urge you to adopt a resolution prohibiting the use of city funds, incentives, or permitting fast tracking to new buildings with gas. Please join Ashland in adopting a low NOx emission standard to safeguard indoor air quality. Please increase the Northwest Natural Supplier Tax from 5% to 10% and create a dedicated fund with that revenue so that we can have sustainable long-term funding source for electrification subsidies focused on our most vulnerable populations. Please apply a social cost of carbon analysis to new construction with gas, and please preclude the use of the right-of-way for new fracked gas infrastructure. These common sense steps will improve the lives of our community members through the many health, climate, and environmental justice benefits of a transition to clean, renewable energy. As many others have noted today, it is hot. Not hot like when I was a kid riding a bike around Eugene, but climate emergency hot. On days like today, I feel afraid. Afraid for my husband's health as he works for the City of Eugene in the Green Infrastructure Department outside in full sun all day long. I feel fear for my daughter who attends outdoor preschool and whose right to a livable future is threatened by the changing climate. I worry for my mother, hi Mom, who is a dedicated bike commuter no matter what the temperature is. Everyone in our community is now feeling the effects of climate breakdown, even our most resilient. In fact, multiple firefighters had to be extracted due to heat-related illness while fighting the climate-driven wildfires sparked in the last week. These are the most highly trained and fit people in our communities, and they are struggling to cope with the myriad of impacts of the climate emergency. The science is clear, the community engagement has been done. Now it's time for concrete climate policy. We cannot ignore the science, and we have the solutions in front of us. It's time for a fossil-free Eugene. Thank you for your time and this opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Aya. Our next speaker is Cecilia Way, followed by Misty Bowman.
Good evening. My name is Cecilia. I live in Eugene, and I am the communications coordinator for 350 Eugene. With this current heat wave, I find it especially important to encourage you all to adopt the building electrification ordinance. Officials are saying this is the worst heat wave on record for the West Coast. And as I'm sure y'all have heard many people say, the summer of 2023 was the hottest on record, yet will be the coolest in the coming decades. Now, obviously, we do not have a time machine to go back and fix the consequences of ignoring those who have spoken out against fossil fuel use. However, we do have the opportunity to make meaningful changes now. Eugene may be one city, so how effective can we be in the fight for climate justice? The answer is very. Every little action counts. New buildings being equipped with electric appliances is an action that counts. Not only will that reduce fossil fuel use, which Eugene committed to reducing by 50% by 2030, it is also safer for those residing in the new buildings. Gas stoves leak many hazardous gases which are harmful to lung health, especially in children and the elderly. There are also no health-based safety standards for gas stoves, and ventilation barely reduces the harm. I also ask that you increase the gas supplier tax on Northwest Natural to 10% to generate revenue for electrification in low-income households. They have shown over and over that they do not care about the safety of the people by sending pro-gas propaganda into schools, suing to repeal the state climate protection plan, and giving us false climate solutions like renewable natural gas. Please think about the health and safety of your constituents. Thank you.
Thank you, Cecilia. Our next speakers are Misty Bowman, followed by Masayo Simon.
Good evening. My name is Misty Bowman. I live in Ward 7, and I'm a Dark Sky International advocate. I'm here to discuss the issue of light pollution. 20 years ago, the City Council passed City Ordinance 9.6725, Outdoor Lighting Standards, and since then, the ordinance has remained untouched and unenforced. In that time, Eugene has become another tragic statistic, seeing its light pollution grow on average 2 to 3% a year since. It doesn't have to be this way. There's a lot of things I could discuss here, how artificial light at night, or ALAN, again, ALAN means artificial light at night. I could discuss how ALAN is wasteful, unsafe, unpleasant. I apologize to anybody named Alan here tonight. Not a personal attack. And I do intend to bring these issues to the city's attention, but tonight I'd like to discuss a relevant issue, the effects of ALAN on the environment. Studies suggest ALAN contributes to a city's heat dome effect, as well as the air's ability to filter pollution at night. Let me repeat that in simpler terms. Light pollution makes cities hotter and smoggier. This could be a unique opportunity for the City of Eugene not just to enhance its environment as we work to fight climate change, but also an opportunity to engage with the cultural heritage of Oregon at large. Dark Sky International has recently recognized Oregon's efforts to protect the night sky. And how amazing would it be if Eugene was added to those efforts? Tonight, I urge the City Council to revisit, revise, and make a plan to enforce a new outdoor lighting standard ordinance guided by Dark Sky International's 5 principles of responsible outdoor lighting. Lights in Eugene should be 1, useful, only used where it is needed. 2, targeted lights should be shielded. 3, low-level lights should only be as bright as they are needed. 4, controlled lights should be on timers, dimmers, or motion switches. And 5, lights should be warm-colored. Yellow and orange lights scatter less than blue and white lights. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Misty. Our next speakers are Masayo Simon and Kyle Purdy.
Hello, Mayor Venice and Eugene City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Masayo Simon. I live in Ward 1. I work for Rogue Climate, where I support the Ashland Youth for Electrification campaign, a group of high schoolers that spend their time advocating for climate action instead of doing the things we all got to do in high school. I'm here on behalf of the Ashland campaign and also as a Eugene resident to urge you to take bold climate action by directing city staff to draft ordinance language that includes generating new revenue for low-income residential electrification by increasing the gas supplier tax on Northwest Natural from 5% to 10%, and creating a social cost of carbon fee, establishing a low NOx emissions standard for furnaces and water heaters sold in Eugene, prohibiting the expansion of gas mains within the city's public right-of-way and adopting a policy that any new construction that the city subsidizes or provides with permitting exemptions or streamlining be built all electric. The Ashland campaign has drawn inspiration from Eugene's climate leadership in the past by passing the first electrification ordinance in Oregon. You helped pave the way for cities across the state to move forward an urgently needed reduction of fossil fuel use. Now, after a year of youth-led organizing, Ashland City Council has voted unanimously for staff to draft the youth proposed climate and clean air policies, which are similar to the policies I just listed. Like the proposals brought forward today, Ashland's policies would also include a low NOx emission standard for new homes and a carbon fee. These are legally defensible options that will improve indoor air quality, reduce climate pollution, and increase access to efficient electric appliances, lowering energy bills and helping us withstand heat waves like this one. Right now, Eugene has the opportunity to begin meeting the climate crisis alongside multiple cities in Oregon. Our combined efforts make our impact much larger and also makes it possible for other cities to take similar action. As we clearly see this summer and have been seeing for countless summers of extreme heat, smoke, and fire, there is no time to waste. I urge you to follow the bold leadership of youth in Eugene, Ashland, and across the country and take action for a livable future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Io. Our next speakers are Kyle Purdy, followed by Jocelyn Wenzel.
Hi, my name is Kyle Purdy, and I'm a lifelong Eugenian from Ward 5. Thank you for your support of the original electrification ordinance. While it is necessary to choose a new path forward, we cannot afford to water down our climate policy or continue with the status quo. It was 103 degrees today in Eugene, which is 23 degrees higher than our average July 8. We are under wildfire and smoke warnings. Now is the time for leadership and action. Please pass a new electrification ordinance that includes an increased tax on Northwest Natural, establishes a low nitrogen oxides emission standard for household appliances, prohibits expansion of gas lines, and requires that new city-supported construction be all electric. Thank you for all of your work to protect our environment.
Thank you, Kyle. Our next speakers are Jocelyn Wenzel, followed by Lydia Valentine.
Can you all hear me okay? Height's usually an issue with these mics. Oh, okay, great. Well, good evening, everyone. Is that good? Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you all. I'm coming before you not only as a resident of Ward 4, but also as a third-year medical student and concerned future public health physician. I'd like to read a small excerpt from the Lane Regional Air Protection Agency press release entitled LRAPA Issues Ozone Advisory for Eugene Springfield Metro Area. Recently, in this release, they mentioned that to help reduce the formation of ozone pollution, LRAPA recommends that residents limit driving by using public transit, carpooling, or other alternative transportation, refuel vehicles during cooler evening hours, and postpone using gas-powered mowers or yard equipment until cooler periods of the day. They also mentioned that ozone irritates the eyes, nose, and lungs and can worsen conditions like asthma and COPD. My response to this is that while this is all well and good, all of this is stratified along social lines as well as fiscal lines, and it detracts from the city's responsibility to support the policies that have been stated thus. It puts the onus to support the health and well-being of the community members on the community members themselves, which is negating the fact that we don't all have the same education in public health and we don't all have the same privilege to do these things, such as carpool or use alternative transportation when you live in more rural areas of the community, or to refuel vehicles during cooler evening hours. If you have shift work, that may not be a privilege that you have. And so I would really urge you all to recognize that while you are sitting on that side of the bench, you're also members of this community, and the whole community deserves wellness and health as a human right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Our next speakers are Lydia Valentine, followed by Tomoko Sekaguchi. Is there a Lydia Valentine in the room? Okay, not seeing a Lydia, I will call the next speaker and call for Lydia one more time. Our next speaker is Tomoko Sakaguchi.
Good evening, Council, and Mayor Vinnis and the City Council. Today I came mostly in support of all the other people who are speaking for electrification, and so I wore my red shirt. But then I started thinking about, what I've been doing today and how it's been for me. I took my granddaughter to the swimming pool, and it was really a joyous, fun thing to do. But then I was thinking how difficult it would be if you didn't have something like this to be doing this afternoon, in the heat this afternoon. And we had a great time at the pool, and then I rode my granddaughter back to her house by bicycle, and she was cool enough because she was still wet, and I got her home okay. And then I thought, well, I'm gonna go and do the normal things that I like to do that I normally would be doing using my bicycle, and it was really hot. It was unbelievable. And so, what I would encourage you and everybody else to do is to use some kind of active transportation, like bicycle or walking or any kind of active transportation, to really see what it feels like out there. Because when you do, you can't deny that what's going on, that the climate has changed so much. In the 38 years that I've lived here, it feels extremely scary. And so that's really all I wanted to say is, that I would like for you all to really feel that, so that you can do all that you can to promote electrification and to and for the climate and for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tomoko. This is one last call for Lydia Valentine. All right, not seeing Lydia come up. Our next speakers are Bethany Cotton, followed by Raven Thompson.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and City Manager. I'm Bethany Cotton, resident of Ward 7, Conservation Director for Cascadia Wildlands. I'm here tonight hot and tired. I've waited 2 years for the Inflation Reduction Act program to launch so I can afford to replace my gas furnace with a heat pump, which will also provide me with AC during these increasingly frequent climate-driven heat emergencies. My electric bill will skyrocket as I use an inefficient window unit to keep my house bearable. And I'm not using my gas stove to avoid adding heat and because I know how toxic it is. Once I switch to induction, I won't have to worry about NOx emissions or the equivalent benzene exposure of living with a smoker, and cooking during a heat wave will barely add heat to my home. Oregon just announced that the state's IRA program will not roll out this summer, and even when it does, there's only enough funding to cover 7,000 homes. This underscores the urgent need for Eugene to create a sustained source of incentives funding to meet our decarbonization goals. I'm also afraid, today and for our future. My sister is visiting our 84-year-old dad with her 3-month-old and toddler in a rural Jackson County. She was woken in the middle of the night by wildfire smoke. In my entire childhood, we were impacted by one wildfire. Now we have go bags and leave keys in vehicles so we can flee at a moment's notice. It's only July 8th. This is the 5th consecutive summer I have evacuated my dad. It's only July 8th. 131 million Americans are under an excessive heat advisory. It's only July 8th. Eugene had a record temp on Friday. It's only July 8th. This is a climate emergency, and frankly, y'all are not acting with anywhere near the urgency this moment requires. A year ago, you asked for more listening, and city staff have done a commendable job with outreach, surveys, and workshops. Staff's public summary shows overwhelming support for subsidies across all interest groups, and every councilor has voiced the same. This morning, the Fossil Free Eugene Coalition presented you with a suite of actions to take now to move Eugene toward achieving our CAP commitments. You are in power now, and I ask you, how are you going to explain to your kids and your grandkids that while you had the authority to do something, you didn't? Thank you.
Thank you, Bethany. Our next speakers are Raven Thompson, followed by Stephen Bianco.
Mayor Venice and Eugene City Councilors, my name is Raven Thompson, and I'm an environmental and climate justice organizer at Beyond Toxics, which is a nonprofit here in Eugene that works towards a clean and just Oregon. I'm originally from Southern Oregon, and I'm a member or a resident of District 8 or Ward 8, and I've noticed the difference in our weather over my 26 years of living here. I am strongly urging the City of Eugene to fulfill its prior commitments to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and pollution, specifically through the following ordinances, which you guys should be familiar with. Increasing Eugene's existing natural gas supplier tax from 5 to 10%, and dedicating the additional revenue to subsidize low-income funding for residents to access electrification. This additional funding will help support rebates for Eugene residents, specifically the ones that I work really closely with. We have already experienced record high temperatures this summer, and as a lot of folks have mentioned, July 5th was one of the hottest days, and we're going to continue to have high temperatures as we move forward. Today, LRAPA issued an air quality warning for ozone, and as we know, that is a serious health concern. Ozone is one of those gases that is seriously a huge pollutant. And when it's emitted, it has health impacts for residents, wildlife, as well as our entire atmosphere. Therefore, I'm really strongly urging you to prioritize the goals that you set to build decarbonization by 2045. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Raven. Our next speaker is Stephen Bianco, followed by Lanny Ball. Is there a Stephen Bianco in the room? All right, not seeing any movement. We will move on to our next speaker, Lanny Ball, and call for Stephen one more time after Lanny speaks.
Thank you, Mayor Venice and council members. I'm here representing myself on behalf of your city. I went to your homeless board meeting, and I got a brochure about that big. And I had 3 black gentlemen ride. I'm an Uber Lyft driver, by the way. From Cottage Grove, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Out of towner, but I do Uber Lyft here in town. Therefore, I'm a stethoscope on your city. And I want you to know that because I hear a lot of stuff from all over the world. And right here, all over the United States, come here. And anyway, you're doing a great job with the homelessness. And that brochure, 3 black gentlemen, I give a ride to the big hotel over here on Oakway. And it was a homeless convention. And I said, well, you picked the right guy. And so I said, look, I've got a brochure from the homeless board. They wanted to look at it. Oh, can we keep that? I said, you bet, you can have it. And boy, they were just tickled to death because, you know, it had a lot of good stuff in it. And overall, you're doing a good job. Just, I believe 2 things. We need maybe get an ordinance on the messiness. That obstructs the people's eyesight, that it puts them against it. I've seen this. Here's the other thing is the price gouging of the hotels. I don't know if you've addressed that, maybe you have or haven't. It's causing a diminishing value to your city. Really seriously, it's like a disease. It's greed. And what's happening is I've had riders with me saying, I spent $10,000 here. I'm not coming here again. A woman told me from the teen championships, we're going to look for another venue. So we need to get, I'm available for, and I've got a myriad of ideas for the homelessness and for this high rising price of the hotels. I've got some answers of my own for that. So I would like to find some way to get context and stuff to you. Thank you very kindly.
Thank you, Lanny. This is the last call for Stephen Bianco. All right, not seeing Stephen. Our next speaker is Aiden Bassett, followed by Megan Moreland.
Good evening, Mayor Vinnis and City Councilors. Thanks for your time. My name is Aidan Bassett, and I live in Ward 1. And I'm here to tell you how eager Eugene residents are for a suite of actions you've heard proposed tonight that you could take to help people electrify their homes and make them more resilient for the kind of extreme heat we now endure every year. If Eugene raised the gas supplier tax to just 10%, those revenues could create a dedicated fund for transformative subsidies for heat pump retrofits in people's homes, most of which do not have air conditioning. Homeowners and landlords getting help from the city to upgrade their home or rental unit in ways that makes folks safer in these lethal heat waves and more comfortable in their homes, which change people's lives for the better and can even save them. And not just those with health conditions or other vulnerabilities to extreme heat and or wildfire smoke. People will be able to feel and see the positive difference that city subsidies make in their lives. Rarely does city government provide such tangible, such visible support to make things more affordable to people. Taking action to help people transition from methane gas appliances to high-efficiency heat pumps shows people that city leaders are in touch with their needs. As more communities rush to adapt to the climate crisis, leaders elsewhere will be able to point to Eugene as a leader on climate and resiliency. By creating dedicated funds for this kind of climate adaptation, which is also climate mitigation, the city can ensure a reliable program that has secure funding that's equitable and accessible for years to come. We've all seen the unfortunate design of state incentives for electrification, which dry up almost immediately, leaving rebate applicants in the lurch. Eugene can do better. Since, to my knowledge, every one of you has expressed support for such incentives, I eagerly and expectantly await your action. We've spent a lot of years talking about what to do. I know, I've been to city listening sessions myself. The ideas are great, the diversity of participants is heartening, and now it's time to act. No one can say the city has not deliberated, gotten public input, and thought seriously about the right approach. And we've found it. It was 102 degrees today.
Thank you, Aidan. Our next speakers are Megan Moreland, followed by Zach Mulholland.
Hello, my name is Megan Moreland. I work in downtown Eugene at Summit Bank, and I'm a resident of Springfield. With deep gratitude, thank you for being a big advocate of ours by banking locally. Community banks are vital to thriving local economies. We use deposits to redeploy money to small businesses and nonprofits. 152 of the loans we issued in 2023 were under $250,000, with the average loan being $103,000. We've helped local food manufacturers buy new equipment, retail stores with line of credit, and provided affordable housing loans to nonprofits in Eugene. I've been in the banking industry for over 13 years, and Summit Bank is my favorite. From everyday banking to walking a person through their first business loan from start to finish, we are here to help. We care about this community. Last year, Summit Bank gave more than $200,000 in donations to nonprofits and arts organizations in Eugene, including but not limited to Kids Sports, Square One Villages, Food for Lane County, The Shed, among many others. We volunteered for 1,173 hours during 2023. Summit Bank at $1.1 billion is the second largest bank headquartered in Oregon. We are the only bank headquartered in Eugene. By contrast, Umpqua Bank, the largest bank, is a $52 billion institution and has moved their headquarters to Tacoma, Washington. It's not just the bank that supports local, our colleagues do too. As the largest private employer in downtown Eugene, our 104 employees believe in the spirit of buying and giving locally. You'll find us eating lunch at Bon Mi, taking in a performance for Ballet Fantastique, and getting our coffee fix from Dark Pine. Our city dollars belong here, locally, at a bank headquartered in Eugene to maximize impact. Please consider depositing additional funds at Summit Bank. City councilors and mayor, thank you for your service to our community and for your consideration.
Thank you, Megan. Our next speakers are Zach Mulholland, followed by Kathy Shaw Bassett.
Hello, Mayor and Council. My name is Zach Mulholland, a resident of Ward 6. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. Coming off a weekend of extremely high temperatures, I think it's important to recognize it will continue to get worse. Just a couple short years ago, we had extreme wildfire smoke to the point we could barely breathe, and the city of Blue River burned to the ground. This last year, we had a massive ice storm that totally overwhelmed city services. This is supposedly a 100-year ice storm, but we've had 3 in the last 10 years. Literally every 5 years, we're getting a 100-year ice storm. The city has just completed extensive outreach efforts to the community to talk about options to decarbonize existing buildings. And this Wednesday, you're going to hear from city staff on the outcome of those efforts. Number one, the city wants you to invest in rebate programs funded by a carbon tax. Please, please say yes to this proposal of what the city is asking you for. There are significant gaps in existing rebate programs. For example, low-income natural gas customers cannot access low-income rebates that are offered by EWEB because of state rules that have separated the gas system and the electric system with terms to subsidies, so that low-income gas users cannot get the money that a low-income electric user could get for a heat pump or for a heat pump water heater. We have a tremendous opportunity to make it so that low-income gas users can get the same benefits that low-income electric users are able to access, and a little bit of money can go a very, very far way. And so I ask you to please say yes to what the results of the community engagement process by investing in rebate programs and finding a dedicated funding source for those programs. I respect, I believe in this council. I believe that you will do the right thing and move the ball forward on this issue. And thank you for taking the time and the energy to move this issue forward and take meaningful action to increase rebates and to address the climate crisis. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Zach. Our next speakers are Kathy Shaw Bassett, followed by Jean Tate.
Good evening, Mayor Venus and City Councilors. Thank you for your time tonight. My name is Kathy Shaw Bassett, and my family lives in Ward 1. I want to tell you about a neighbor of mine. She's in her early 80s, and her house is older and doesn't have any air conditioning, just like most homes in Eugene. By contrast, my husband and I were able to get a new ductless heat pump installed in our house last month after struggling to keep the temperature tolerable during the heat waves in recent years. I also have asthma, so it hasn't worked well to use window units to try and cool our house during the wildfire season, since they can't filter out smoke particles and instead effectively blow the smoke right into the house. When we got our heat pump, it was quickly and easily installed. We've been really grateful for how well it's worked during this heat wave. But we could only afford it because of incentives available in the Federal Inflation Reduction Act, which still has a relatively low cap on the credit for energy efficiency improvements and will eventually expire. Some of the efficiency credits are expiring in just 3 years. Federal rebates are great, but the IRA is temporary. And even with the IRA's temporary help, many families will not have the same opportunity that we did. Eugene needs to do more to address the intensifying crisis of extreme heat. Over this past weekend, my husband and I decided to offer our guest room with its brand new mini split to our neighbor when her house was suffocatingly hot. And I'm glad we did. But this is no solution to the bigger problem. Not everyone can simply sleep in the nearest air-conditioned home. They should be able to affordably ensure that safety for their home. Seniors are hardest hit by this crisis. They're less mobile, they often have fixed incomes, and they're living with more health vulnerabilities. Many seniors are also renters, which means they're reliant on landlords to decide to install the heat pumps. And back when other seniors bought their homes, air conditioning was even less common than it is today. Seniors on fixed incomes often cannot afford to move, but with the help from the city, they could potentially afford to install higher efficient heat pumps. My neighbor deserves better, but like thousands of Eugene seniors, she needs your commitment to bridging that affordability gap and creating a heat pump subsidy program funded by raising the gas supplier tax.
Thank you, Kathy. Your time is concluded. Our next speaker this evening is Jean Tate, followed by David Eigel.
I would like to begin by thanking each and every one of you for the work that you do for the city of Eugene. I wouldn't have the stamina to do it, and I really appreciate it. I'm coming to talk about the awful sidewalks. I, too, had to give up driving under severe pressure from both of my children, but I did the day after I took a 300-mile road trip, but I now walking. I walk with a cane, and I can do fine on level sidewalks, but unfortunately, there are a great number of sidewalks in Eugene which are not level. I then graduated to a walker, but the sidewalks in the area where I live, close to downtown, sometimes have these rather large not gaps. What is it when you go up a little bit? Anyway, and a good friend of mine in the building where I live has now fallen 3 times. I have a picture in my phone of the bruises that I could show you, but I decided to spare you. So I have graduated to a cart that does get me around places. But I really think you need to try to do more than has been done in the past. I know that you have a sidewalk, is he a superintendent? Anyway, the sidewalk guy who goes around, inspects, and puts yellow down, and they did that after I complained to a city council person. And two of the 4 lots beside us, did cement stuff where you, what's that, Mike? What's that stuff where you ground down? 2 of them did not. And so it is really dangerous, and I hope that you will do something within your power to help us with all the sidewalks. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jean. Our next speakers are David Eigel, followed by Timothy Morris.
David Eigel, Ward 1. Good evening. Most of the visitors to the Lane County History Museum come during the county fair. 2 years ago, the Disgraceful and Dishonest Racing to Change exhibit promoted vile misinformation that was insulting to the memory of those who lived here in the past and are now helpless to defend themselves. Many families have been deeply hurt. 2 quick examples. First, supposedly leading citizens, including Protestant ministers, marched about on Eugene streets shouting racially and religiously bigoted chants in the 1920s. I'm very happy to report that this story is 100% hogwash. Many named families have been defamed. Second, Oregon was described as a southern state and anti-Lincoln. Again, 100% hogwash. In 1862, the Oregon legislature was about 90% Republican. Oregon remained in the Union. It wasn't an accident that in 1862, Baker County was named for Edward Baker, the Oregon senator who is the only sitting U.S. senator to have ever died while fighting for the U.S. Lincoln, many years earlier, had named one of his sons for Edward Baker. Nor was it an accident that in 1864, Union County was named, nor Grant or Sherman counties. What could be less anti-Lincoln or Southern than Lincoln County? Sheridan, Oregon is named for General Phil Sheridan, who said that if I owned Texas and hell, I'd rent out Texas and live in hell. Over the last 3 years, gross violations of Oregon law regarding the conduct of elections and meetings of the Lane County Historical Society have made normal remedies impossible. I ask that each council member and members of the public contact the Lane County Commissioners and the Museum Board of Directors so that corrective information is provided to this year's visitors. Thank you for any efforts you can make in this direction. It really is important. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Our next speaker is Timothy Morris, followed by Deborah McGee.
Oh, my phone slides. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. For the record, my name is Timothy Morris. I am the Executive Director of the Springfield Eugene Tenant Association and a resident of Ward 1. I come today to speak in favor of the electrification ordinance, the electrification efforts, and in support of the majority of people who live here in the city of Eugene, renters. As a Sustainability Commission has alluded to, renters do not have a choice in what utilities that their home uses. And with a vacancy rate of 2% here in the city of Eugene, renters are forced to choose the first available housing and not the housing that can support their health. Gas has been declared a public health concern by both the American Medical Association and the American Public Health Association. And additionally, Analysis from RMI, found that all electric homes built in Eugene with an Energy Star rating heat pump would cost a little under $3,500 less than it would be to build a home with similar mixed fuel home. Excuse me, it's been a long day. The facts are clear. Without clear guidelines and efforts to transition off of gas utilities, the city of Eugene is forcing the majority of its residents to potentially risk their health, jeopardize their safety, and increase their own housing expenses. In other words, it's safer, cleaner, and cheaper to support electrification here in Eugene, especially to the 52% of residents living in your city. Rather than repeat what we've heard from some of our colleagues, I'm going to share that our organization has received a few reports of tenants in our community who have had to leave their homes because their air conditioning has not been installed or has not been installed properly. That's not the kind of city we are and what kind of city we want to be, where our own neighbors, our own friends, our own constituents have to flee their homes because they don't have air conditioning or they were not lucky enough to get it in the first place. We can do better, we should do better, and we can do it right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Timothy. Our next speaker is Deborah McGee, followed by Paul Bowden.
Good evening, Council. My name is Deborah McGee. I live in Lane County. And in the spirit of creative civic participation, I present to you the Climate Crisis Quartet. 1, 2, 3. We think we're gonna be sad. We think it's today, yeah. 'Cause the world that we know and love is going away, yeah. Fires, floods, and droughts, oh my, makes you glad it's legal to get high. You know we gotta decarbonize if we want to survive. You passed the cap and CRO, and that was so fine, yeah. But that was 10 years ago, and we're so far behind, yeah. Hurricanes and mud that slides, we all got no place to hide. We have got to decarbonize if we want to survive. We're tired of you moving so slow. It's past time to get up and go. Our kids have got to have healthy lives. We just got to decarbonize. Living with fossil fuels, they're bringing us down, yeah. Kids are sick with asthma, you know, all over town. The climate is melting down. We can see the evidence all around. We gotta decarbonize if we want to survive. We're tired of you moving so slow. It's past time to get up and go. Our kids gotta have healthy lives. We just gotta decarbonize. Council, you are our ticket to ride. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah and the quartet. Our next speaker is Paul Bowden, followed by Jim New.
Good evening. Maybe all testimony should be sung, you know? I'm Paul Bowden. I live in Ward 1. Since 1990, my family and I have been living in the Monroe Park neighborhood. I'm urging the City Council to change the current 72-hour notice for tent campers to a same-day notice that's effective 7 days a week. Tent camping has become a recurring reality in our neighborhood surrounding Monroe Park. Campers have become adept at leaving and returning again and again to the same parking strips in order to avoid the current 72-hour limit. And each time they leave, we, the neighbors at Monroe Park, become their cleanup crew We deposit campers' needles and Arcan containers in public trash cans. We clear out tents that they leave behind, as well as couch cushions, pillows, blankets, open packages of food, and articles of clothing. We pile all of these up by the park trash cans for the city crews to take away. We clean up their human waste. We clean up their animal feces that are left behind by unleashed dogs, and we drag their discarded tents to the park as well. People who camp on parking strips present a public health hazard, both to themselves and to the renters and the homeowners who must clean up their waste. This public health problem has gotten worse recently as tenters have organized in groups of 4 or more, the latest group particularly being destructive to Monroe Park and nearby parking strips. In addition, neighbors have experienced campers' abusive language and internal arguments into the hours of the night. Recently, my wife and I have hired a landscaper at our own expense to plant bushes and ground cover along the parking strips that border our house, but I know for a fact that most people cannot afford that luxury. The city needs to come in and help. Please revise the current ordinance to a same-day notice prohibiting tent camping on public spaces. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Paul. Our next speaker is Jim New, followed by our final speaker, Marilyn O'Malley.
Mayor, Council, and City Manager, my name is Jim New. I live in Ward 7. 9 years ago, I stood here in this room and about this spot to give testimony to the EWEB commissioners when over the river I watched 2 osprey fighting for a fish midair. I knew I had moved to the right place. I also knew I moved to the right place when the mayor and council adopted the Climate Action Plan 2.0. I have confidence that this council will compose an ordinance that will finally set a path forward to decarbonize our building sector through electrification in order to meet the goals of the Climate Recovery Ordinance. Decarbonization of our transportation sector and electrification of our building sector were the directive carbon reduction goals of the CAP. I urge Council to lead that directive in a building electrification ordinance that 16 organizations signed in a letter to you with 5 direct actions. The fossil fuel industry has spun the terms uncertainty and resilience into establishing doubt about whether global warming is even happening or just an anomaly, and how we can be resilient to weather events while still burning oil, coal, and gas. Consider the carbon capture process of extracting carbon dioxide from the making of ethanol. Ethanol has been scientifically proven to generate more CO2 than it saves in vehicle emissions, and now the industry proposes to take the CO2 and pipeline it into well holes to generate more oil and gas. Renewable natural gas was touted by Northwest Methane as their avenue in reducing methane and carbon emissions, and is no longer closer to achieving that goal than when it was first introduced when the CAP was adopted. The only RNG in the state is less than 1% imported from the Midwest. University of Pennsylvania climatologist and geophysicist Michael Mann stated, "There is no amount of resilience or adaptation that will be adequate if we fail to get off of burning fossil fuels." However, there may be hope as Northwest Methane joined the 24 utilities representing 47% of the country to form the Utility Network Geothermal Collaborative, an explorative venture in using gas infrastructure to heat with geothermal technology. Northwest Methane Innovation Manager Holly Braun stated, "Are we really a gas company or a thermal energy delivery company? I hope the latter." Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jim. Our next and final speaker is Marilyn O'Malley.
Hi, I'm Marilyn O'Malley. I live in Ward 8. I live in a complex with 108 units. I recently walked through it with an arborist. We have a lot of trees in our complex, and our trees are looking pretty terrible. And we talked about what the condition of our trees had to do with climate change. And he and I groaned together as we talked about, the maples are not doing well, and they're going to do worse. And it was just one more layer of things bringing home how very dire our climate situation is. I originally came in here to talk about urging for the electrification. You've already heard all about it. I don't need to repeat that. That is just one step. We need to take every step possible, big steps, little steps, not overlook anything. My son recently told me he and his wife are hoping to have a baby. I really hope they don't. That shocks me. I mean, for years, I looked forward to being a grandmother. The idea of bringing a little baby into this world in the state that it's in absolutely terrifies me. I'm terrified when I looked at my sister's lovable, wonderful grandchildren, and I hope that they live to be my age. I hope that they get to have grandchildren of their own. It's very doubtful. If you read the climate science, if you really read it, it is terrifying. It's like the whole world has been given a death sentence, and we don't need to accept that. The time to work is right now with electrification, with every single thing we can. And we already know if the Republican administration exists next time, they've already said they're going to stop all climate programs. So it's up to everybody, every city, to fight as much as they can. We cannot depend on the federal government. Please do as much as you can, and I hope that you will declare climate emergency. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Mayor, that was our final speaker.
Thank you so much. Thank all of you for your comments, and you were very succinct. We got through all of the speakers without running out of time, and very powerful commentary. Really appreciate you coming on a very hot night after several very hot days and many hot days ahead of us to talk to us about climate. So I'm grateful for your activism and your commitment to that work. And are there counselors with comments or questions? Okay, I'm not seeing any, and so again, thank you again for taking the time to testimony, for the work you do in the community, and with that, we're adjourned.